Hello, Thomas.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for taking the time and talking to us. We appreciate that.
Oh, good. Yes. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to Power Up. It's topping the charts worldwide. It's a global success yet again.
Yes.
But as a member of ACDC, how do you measure success?
That's it's not an easy answer. I think that it's good when you create something, and it seems to have the right ingredients to strike the right chords with the public. So that's always good for us. So, but it's very hard to measure success because some people look at success as money, how many units they sell and all that. And for us, it was always the basis of, we do what we like doing, which is making hard rock music. And that was always our goal, to be able to do that. And we never, probably, for the length of years that we've been doing it, since the early 70s, and people would kind of think, everything come overnight for you, but everything was really, small steps at a time. And but it's really good, and it's probably a good thing also for this period, when the world's in this big lockdown situation. So it gives a little bit of light on the horizon, as they say.
Was it hard to get the band back together for the recordings? I mean, Cliff pretty much retired officially.
Yeah, well, I think probably the main reason why everyone wanted to be on board was probably because Malcom, my brother, he'd been passing away, and so it was a little bit of a tribute for Malcom. So everyone felt, good about it, and everyone wanted to be on board, which was, it really wasn't that hard in that sense, because everyone had Brian had been working away with various technologies, hearing. So he had been keeping, myself and the other members updated on how that was going. And so he was very, he was really excited to be in doing it. And it's the same with everyone else, and I thought, and Cliff was very good too, because Cliff, even when we had last seen and been together, I said to Cliff, if we do something, do you want me to let you know, and you can make up your mind whether you want to be part of it? And he said, yeah, definitely. So, let him know, and he was glad to be on board, and also the same with Phil. So everything came together really well. And my nephew Stevie filling in, doing Malcolm's role. So, so it wasn't really a tough sell for everyone,
Was there ever a point where you had the necessity to think about not recording with Brian Johnson, but maybe with Axel Rose?
It never really came as a point in question, Axel helped us out, he had actually volunteered, because I'll be honest, at the time, we didn't really know what we would do at that situation. And he had very early had volunteered, he said if he can help out, he had his own commitments to do, and he said if it didn't interfere with what he was doing, he would, gladly, if he can help, he would be involved. And so it was a case of that, whether we would, we didn't know how it would, if it come together. So we did a little bit of rehearsing with him, and it worked out, I think a bar, he broke his foot, when he'd been working with his own project, and but he he certainly did his best. You know, he gave it his all to get through. So that was, you know, very good at him. And you know, I got a lot of respect at and how he did it. You know, he was very pro. And he was very hungry. He was very much a fan of especially a lot of our earlier stuff with Bon.
Yeah.
So he was excited to be doing it. Yeah.
All right.
So as a band, I think I'll always be grateful to him for that. Yeah.
All right. The next question is kind of tricky even for me to ask, because I think the answer is clear. But is there any way that you can replace a person such as Malcom in whatever you guys, you know, the working chemistry that you had? It's just unique. I mean, how can you do it now?
Yeah, that you'll never find anyone who's like Malcom. Because he created it all. He started in the beginning. He was the founding guy of it all, and he was the one who said we should do this and do it that way. Yeah. And so he was the guiding influence for the whole of ACDC, and so he's irreplaceable in that sense. And it's probably the same with Malcom, and it's also, you know, like even with Bon, you know, they're irreplaceable people. They're unique characters in themselves. Yeah. And but I take my inspiration for it all was Malcom was even up until he was badly affected, even with the disease he had, the dementia. He was always one, you know, when he was clear-headed in clear moments, he was always going, no, you keep going, you just keep going. Mm-hmm. And that was his whole, the thing he always had. Even, you know, he was that way even with Bon. Passed away. He said, you know, he knew that Bon would have been the same. You know, he'd just you'd keep going. You know?
Now, you know, as you said, you keep going. Are you guys gonna keep on going now? Because it seems like everything fell back into place for Power Up. It seems like there is a step from Power Up to the future. Yes.
Well, we did plan on, because before this whole pandemic thing happened, we were planning to do. We'd done rehearsals, and we were planning actually to do maybe some shows and to see how it would be. And so we'd actually done a lot of rehearsals and trying out a lot of the newer songs, and then we had a few weeks of that, and then we just we thought, well, okay, we'll have a break, and then we'll regroup at some point. Mm-hmm. And it's when everyone went back to their various places around the world, and then it was like out of the blue, the world just went into this big lockdown there. So that threw a kind of spanner in the work. Yeah. Yeah. And we were hoping we would get the album out. Even, you know, we were hoping to have gotten out earlier, by the, you know, when the pandemic, because that threw, even our record company was planning to do an early release, but that threw everything. You know, it become a big delay, and they said, well, we need to wait until, you know, because in the beginning, everyone thought maybe a few weeks, a few months, and everything be back to normal. And but it's still going on. So,
you know, the songs you have on Power Up, they were all, you know, Malcom was all involved. It seems that you dig a little bit into the vaults of that whole thing. Yes. These are songs, I think, I would say these are songs from the past that you made come alive. Do you have songs? It's a bizarre question, but do you have new ACDC songs now? Is there another album coming up soon?
Yeah, well, Malcolm and myself, it's writing a lot of songs. We always kept busy.
Yeah.
When we were not touring, the two of us usually, had a few weeks off, and then we would hook up and, get a little studio somewhere, and we would go in and we would just hammer out ideas. And then we might break for, do a few months of that, and then have a break, and then, come back again and with new ideas and start again. So we always tried to keep ourselves busy and tried to be in front of what we did. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of people would think, oh, these are just B tracks. No, they're not B tracks, not outtakes. These are songs that we had specifically marked that said we know are good AC/DC tracks.
Yeah.
And consequently, even when we went to make newer albums, we always went in, we always went in prepared, and you would look and, chances are what we would do was the most recent things we'd been working on. You'd pick a lot of those and you go, okay, this is what we've been working on at this point. We'll use those. But in other times you would go, why don't we do some of those earlier ones? And unless we had a bit of a wall, we might go back and say, okay, we'll use this track and that track. So it was never with us a case of we were lacking in any material what to use. It's still the same. I've still got material. Yeah.
All right.
Both me and him worked on together. Yeah.
That's exciting news. It is good.
Yeah, it is. Hey, I get excited because I carry around a lot in my head also that I remember, from.
Very nice. Mr. Young, I'm based here in Munich, Germany, and I know that every country in the world probably claims that they have their own special relationship to AC/DC. But as a matter of fact, I think Germany actually does, and Munich especially does, because you recorded a live DVD here. You played the Circus Chronik 20 years ago, which was mind-blowing.
Yes.
Can you confirm your special relationship to Germany and to Munich?
Yeah, I love being, and I'm, especially when, like being in Munich. I always loved playing. The very first time I ever played in Munich, I fell in love with it. Yeah, I think it's the audience itself. From the very first time we actually played, I think one of our earlier shows was in the. The little place.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and it's always fun when you're playing and at that time people had never seen this before, and you get such a strong reaction from them. So, and it sticks with you because when you went back, you knew you were going to play to enthusiastic people. Yeah.
Right.
And it's always a fun feeling. Yeah. For us to be there, and also, in playing, as you say, even playing in the Olympic stadium. Yeah, it's a great feeling to be, it's got such a good history of a lot of, rock bands, especially for us whenever we played there. Yeah.
Nice. AC/DC over the years, over the decades, has achieved everything that I can ever imagine. But is there anything where you would say, we haven't achieved that yet, we should try this one?
I think that, probably there's a lot, because you think now when I would love to do this that way, and probably more so now because I've got, I have a lot of time. I can think sometimes what I would like to do. Yeah. So, but that changes every day. Sometimes you get a glorious idea. You say, oh, yeah, Maybe we can play on top of the Himalayas somewhere or something. Somewhere different. Huh? Might be cold.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Young. We have no more further time. I have no more further questions. Well, I have tons of questions. But thanks again. Thanks again for talking to us. And
okay, Thomas. Thank you very much.
We salute you.
Yeah, we salute you too. Thank you.
Thank you.